Hey, before we begin tonight, I wanted to share a quick note with you. My name is Manny, I'm one of the team members and producers behind the channel. Owen Thorne, the familiar voice you've come to know and trust, will be stepping away starting next week to begin a new chapter of his own. Owen asked me to thank you sincerely for letting his voice be a part of your evenings, your rest, and your peace. The stories will continue, just with a new voice to guide you.
Welcome to Deep Sleep Stories. You've chosen a moment just for yourself, a quiet, comforting pause in your day. As you settle into this gentle refuge, allow your breath to slow and soften. Feel the weight of your body sink into the surface beneath you, releasing tension from your shoulders, your arms, your legs. In this story, you will drift into the desert twilight, guided by the tender glow of ancient stone and the whispered songs carried on the evening breeze. Let each breath bring you deeper into stillness. Inhale the warmth of a far-off sun. Exhale any cares that cling to your mind. Inhale, feel the soothing embrace of softly shifting sands. Exhale, let every remaining worry float away. Gently close your eyes if you wish, or simply soften your gaze. There is nothing to do now but rest. The painted desert awaits, a tapestry of rolling clay, red ochre, and violet hues shifting under the great dome of a star-kissed sky. Step by step, breath by breath, let go of the world around you, allowing the story to enfold you like a lullaby. When you feel ready, let the rhythm of your heart become one with the quiet hush of the desert night. Long ago, in a land where the horizon draped itself in sweeping ribbons of color each evening, there lived a young traveler named Tala. She walked lightly upon the parched ground, guided by a gentle curiosity about the painted desert that stretched out for miles before her. The setting sun tinted the sand and stone in shades of coral, russet, and dusky violet. It was as if the sky was falling to meet the earth, painting every dune and rocky crest with the last soft rays of golden light. Tala arrived near twilight, her footsteps stirring only faint whispers of dust in the hush. A warm breeze brushed across her cheeks, carrying the distant scent of sage and desert blooms. As the sun dipped lower, the air began to cool, bathing the land in a serene glow. Shadows lengthened, becoming long, dark silhouettes that swayed with the passing wind. Nearby, a small cluster of desert plants rustled as a night beetle skittered beneath them, and far off, a coyote's solitary call wove itself into the stillness. To honor the moment, Tala paused at the crest of a weathered mesa, breathing in the grandeur. Spread before her was an expanse of softly rolling hills and geological formations layered in wide horizontal bands of color, pink, lavender, and earthy brown, all remnants of ancient times etched into the stone and clay by centuries of wind and rain. She set down her small pack and let her gaze wander, absorbing each hue that shifted with the approaching night. Within these layers, she sensed stories and memories of countless sunsets that had seeped into the land, making it all the more mystic. A faint trail curled downward from the mesa, disappearing among stony ridges and low-lying shrubs. Tala followed it with unhurried steps. Above, the sky deepened into an inky purple, and the first stars began to flicker. She listened carefully, each footstep sounding muffled in the sand. In the distance, a slender shape of a juniper tree bowed to the breeze, branches sighing softly. Overhead, a hawk traced its final circle before gliding away into the dimming horizon, giving way to nocturnal creatures that would soon awaken. As Tala descended, the shapes and colors around her dissolved into a hushed twilight palette. The painted desert did not vanish in darkness. Instead, it revealed another side of its beauty. Sandstone outcrops cast gentle, moonlit silhouettes, and the sky steadily filled with glimmering constellations. She noticed how each star seemed to dance and shimmer, as though greeting the quiet land below. The desert exhaled the stored warmth of the day, and its breath wove a tapestry of subtle scents: sage, juniper, and the sweet dryness of ancient rock. The small path meandered through a cluster of mesas, leading Tala to a place where the wind-etched canyons glowed pale under the moon. She paused at an opening between two tall rock faces, where the shadows stretched in graceful arcs. There, a faint glow drew her closer. A small fire flickered gently within a makeshift circle of stones. Curious, she approached, footsteps light and unthreatening. Beside the mellow flames sat an elder, cloaked in a woven blanket patterned with traditional Navajo designs. The elder's face was etched with kind lines that spoke of wisdom earned through time spent listening to the wind and learning the language of the desert. Softly, the elder welcomed Tala with a nod. The dancing firelight revealed gentle eyes beneath the brim of a broad hat. Though they had not met before, Tala felt a sense of familiarity, as if the desert itself had guided her here. She settled across the small fire from the elder, letting the warmth graze her hands. The hush between them felt comfortable, imbued with the gentle acceptance often found under a wide-open sky. Overhead, an owl glided silently, acknowledging the shared stillness. A soft song emanated from the elder's lips, barely above a whisper, weaving through the desert air like a tender lullaby. The language carried rhythms of an ancient land, each note drawing from the hush of dawns past and the promise of tomorrow's sunrise. Though Tala did not understand every word, the melody soothed her. She felt her heart slow in response, her breathing deepen in time with the ebb and flow of the soft chanting. The painted desert seemed to hum in harmony, as if the spirit of the place was listening too. When the elder's song faded into the quiet, Tala offered a grateful smile. No explanation was needed. This was a moment of communion with the land, with the ancient wisdom gently resting in the stones beneath their feet. The elder reached into a small pouch, drawing out a handful of crushed herbs and sprinkling them into the fire. A fragrant plume rose, swirling overhead, merging with the silver threads of moonlight. The elder closed their eyes, breathing in the aromatic smoke as though it contained a dream from the old stories. Then, in a gentle voice, they spoke. This desert holds memories older than any one of us. It reveals them in its changing colors. With each twilight, we can listen, truly listen, and let the land offer its gifts. If you remain still, you may hear the painted desert dream. Tala absorbed these words. Her heart warmed as much by their meaning as by the flames. She allowed herself to sink into the hush, to rest in the gentle lull that soothed her muscles and her mind. Each grain of sand seemed to hold a secret. Each puff of wind carried the distant echo of the elders' lullaby. Gazing into the fire's embers, Tala imagined the painted desert in ages past, when the wind chiseled the rocks into their current forms and the sun bleached the earth with countless dawns. She saw images of ancient travelers forging paths across the land, guided by starlight and hope. Threads of memory drifted on the breeze, whispering of times when the desert floor was part of a vast seafloor, then a lush floodplain, and eventually the arid realm it was today. The swirling smoke from the elders' herbs offered glimpses of these stories, as though to say, "We have seen much, and still we watch over you now." The elder spoke again, voice as gentle as the hush before sleep. "Listen to your heart, child. The desert is alive, and it holds you gently, as it has done for countless generations." With that, the elder stood, wrapped their blanket around themselves, and walked silently into the darkness beyond the fire's glow, leaving Tala alone with the quiet flames. She took a deep, contented breath, letting the vibrations of that brief encounter settle within her. The coyote's distant howls rose once more, as if echoing the elder's silent departure. Tala felt no fear in this solitude. The painted desert seemed to cradle her, the warm sand beneath her, and the protective arch of starlight above. A yearning stirred in her to explore more of this nocturnal wonderland. She carefully stoked the fire, ensuring it would die down safely, then lifted her pack and stepped back onto the path. Her goal now was not a particular destination, but simply to wander and feel the desert's lull, to welcome its midnight serenade. She walked at a leisurely pace, guided by moonbeams that illuminated the winding trail. Overhead, the Milky Way stretched in a majestic swirl, reminding her of drifting sand in a giant cosmic tide. Every so often, she paused to admire the silver glow that softened the rugged lines of the terrain. The painted ridges and pinnacles now appeared dreamlike, softened from their bold daytime colors into gentle shades of charcoal and faint lavender. An old cottonwood tree stood along a narrow wash, its leaves rustling in a whisper of night wind. Tala paused beneath its outstretched branches, letting the faint green scent calm her further. The trunk was gnarled from years of weathering the desert sun, yet its roots reached deep into hidden groundwater. A quiet testament to resilience, it reminded her that life thrives even in the most seemingly barren of places. With a hand on the bark, she felt a gentle pulse, as if the tree breathed in tandem with the hush around them. Continuing along, she passed a small gathering of prickly pear cacti whose blossoms had closed for the night. The moonlight cast slender shapes upon the sand, creating a delicate interplay of light and shadow. Even the occasional scorpion, glowing softly under the moon's pale shine, slipped away into a hidden crevice. Each creature's movements were unhurried, part of a grand, nightly rhythm that stretched back through countless generations. Ahead, the path opened onto a broader vista, where the canyon walls formed a natural amphitheater. Tala's breath caught at the sight. A stretch of desert plain, that shimmered under the luminescent sky, while the horizon was crowned by towering rock formations. Far above, the constellations soared, spinning slowly in time with the Earth's silent turning. If she listened closely, she could almost hear a pulse in the land, a subtle drumbeat in the rock beneath her feet. The hush of night was alive with unspoken melodies. She chose a flat rock to rest upon, setting her pack down. From here, the painted desert stretched infinitely, a midnight canvas draped with ancient enchantment. A gentle breeze carried a lingering warmth from the stones. Tala took a sip of water, savoring its coolness. Her eyelids grew heavy with contentment, and she decided to remain here for a while, letting the desert's lullaby cradle her thoughts. As she relaxed, her mind drifted in that soft space between waking and dreams. She recalled the elder's lullaby and its invitation to listen. And so, she did. The desert's voice was subtle, yet profound. The quiet scrape of shifting sand, the distant cry of an owl, the faint rustle of a creature scurrying through brush. Each sound rose and fell like a wave on a tranquil shore, lulling Tala into a profound sense of ease. In time, her thoughts wandered to an ancient narrative. She imagined a young Navajo shepherd guiding sheep by the gentle starlight, humming a soft tune to the flock. The shepherd stood on a hillside, overlooking a valley much like this one, in a time far removed from the present. In that vision, the red desert sands glowed with the same celestial radiance, and the shepherd's lullaby entwined with the swirl of stardust overhead. As Tala pictured this scene, she felt connected to all who had walked this land before her, to the universal yearning for peace beneath an expansive sky. She slipped deeper into the imagery, sensing the boundary between present and past dissolving. The hush of ages enveloped her, as if she were floating in the very memory of the painted desert itself. A gentle, stirring breeze brought her back to the surface, and she opened her eyes to find her own footprints softly illuminated in the moonlight. An unexpected gratitude filled her. Gratitude for the desert's acceptance and for the quiet companionship it offered. Eventually, Tala rose from her resting place. The time felt right to wander a bit more before finding a sheltered spot to sleep. She followed the moonlit path down toward the valley floor, each step slow and careful, as though she were dancing in a dream. The land gently sloped into a sheltered pocket of sand, ringed by low rocks that offered some respite from the wind. She paused there, noticing how the place seemed to naturally cradle weary travelers. Kneeling, she brushed away a few pebbles to create a space to lie down. She retrieved a blanket from her pack, an unassuming piece of cloth dyed in muted blues and browns, which reminded her of gentle waters meeting the desert shore at twilight. Spreading it on the sand, she settled in, letting the ground beneath cradle her body. When she looked up, the stars took her breath away once more. Above, the vast expanse sparkled like scattered jewels, infinite and comforting. There was no glaring city light to drown out their brilliance. The painted desert had its own subtle glow, a reflection of the heavens that made the night less about darkness and more about a shared radiance between earth and sky. A hush enveloped Tala, as she felt the gentle press of the blanket against her back and the soft weight of her eyelids descending. She inhaled slowly, feeling the dry, sweet desert air fill her lungs, and exhaled the last remnants of tension from her limbs. Her thoughts drifted again to that elder's lullaby, those tender notes that spoke of reverence for nature's embrace, for the harmony that ties all beings to the land. The melodic memory mingled with the gentle swirl of wind around her, creating a lull so soothing that she could do little but surrender to its pull. Time seemed to dissolve into a tapestry of shimmering starlight and faint echoes of desert magic. She felt her own heartbeat slowing, matching some ancient rhythm in the stones. The painted desert, in its graciousness, offered a silent reassurance that in quiet moments of surrender, one could sense a sacred bond with the world, a bond that transcends the boundaries of single lifetimes. All around her, the lullaby of the desert carried on, subtle but ever present, caressing her senses until her thoughts turned soft and distant. As the hours passed, the stars tilted in their grand arc across the sky. The land remained tranquil, only occasionally stirred by a soft gust of wind or the distant call of a night creature. The universe itself seemed to hum softly, as though telling Tala she was exactly where she needed to be. And beneath that cosmic lull, she found rest. She slept through the night, enveloped by a calm that was almost dreamlike. Her breathing synchronized with the gentle shifts of wind, and each star overhead seemed to keep watch, shining its subtle blessings upon her. Then, somewhere in the early morning hours, still dark, but with the faint promise of dawn on the horizon, Tala began to rouse. The world remained hushed, a fragile moment when night still reigned, but morning's light stirred within the sky. The shifting glow revealed the shapes of distant mesas and rolling hills that were tinted a deep blue. She blinked and stretched, feeling a profound sense of renewal, as if the painted desert had nurtured her with its quiet strength. Still cocooned in the softness of night, she sat up, scanning her surroundings. The blanket of stars overhead had started to fade in the east, where a gentle brightness was emerging. The hush was near absolute, and Tala kept her movements slow, aware that she was a guest here, in the desert's domain. She folded her blanket and rubbed the sleep from her eyes, amazed at how refreshed she felt in this tranquil moment. A faint glow on the horizon grew, and soon the sky was tinted with the earliest hint of rose and amber. She decided to remain, to greet the rising sun in a state of calm reflection. Nestling back against a smooth rock, she watched as the colors of dawn unfurled. A pale pink that reached for the edges of the desert, a gentle gold that touched the highest ridges first. The painted desert, so serene under moonlight, now began to display the promise of a new day, the colors soft and welcoming. As the first rays peeked over the horizon, they illuminated the layered rock formations in vibrant hues, terracotta, vermilion, and blushing coral. Shadows shrank away, and the desert awakened with subtle sounds, the faint shuffle of lizards emerging to greet the warmth, the flutter of a bird's wings overhead. A gentle breath of wind carried the promise of renewal. in that tender unfolding of dawn, Tala felt a flutter of awe, as though she was witnessing a secret shared between the earth and sky. While the sun slowly climbed, her mind drifted back to the Elder's words. With each twilight we can listen, truly listen, and let the land offer its gifts. She realized that dawn was but another side of that same truth. The painted desert's dream had guided her through the night. Now, it welcomed her into day with equal grace. All around her, the land shimmered with possibilities, even as the lingering hush encouraged reflection and peace. With gentle purpose, Tala stood and began gathering her things, determined to carry the desert's gift with her wherever she traveled next. She took time to softly shake out her blanket, careful not to disturb the land any more than necessary. As she placed it back into her pack, she caught sight of a tiny desert flower, its pale yellow petals trembling in the morning breeze. She bent down to admire it, sensing a kinship in its delicate resilience. She whispered a word of thanks to this quiet realm, feeling certain that the painted desert's lullaby would remain in her heart long after she continued on her journey. When she finally stepped away, Tala's footsteps once again stirred faint clouds of dust in the early light. The sky had shifted to a brilliant cerulean, with the sun now fully embracing the desert. She glanced back at the place where she had slept. The same hush lingered, as though that pocket of sand waited to comfort yet another weary soul when the time was right. An unspoken blessing hovered in the air, following her as she continued down the winding path, guided by a warm breeze and a sense of serene purpose. Now, your eyes have grown heavy, and your heart beats a little slower. You can imagine the painted desert in those magical hours just before dawn, waiting with a gentle patience for sunlight to return. As the night's last stars fade, a warm hush spreads over the land. Quietly, the desert offers solace, a moment in which all worries dissolve into the wide, open horizon. Feel your own breath deepen, each inhale carrying a soothing comfort, each exhale releasing any tension still lingering. Let the memory of Tala's journey guide you toward rest. Picture a soft blanket beneath you, the soothing warmth of stones that cradle your body like a tender embrace. The desert's lullaby, soft, ancient, resonates in the spaces between thoughts where calm and stillness thrive. With each slow blink of your eyes, drift further into slumber. You are safe here, at ease in the gentle glow of your own peaceful desert night. Allow the hush of the painted desert to comfort your spirit, just as it did for Tala. Each grain of sand is a reminder that the earth supports you, carries you, and lulls you into a peaceful dream. So let go. Surrender to the welcome arms of rest. Imagine the stars sparkling above, whispering, "All is well." Good night, dear traveler. May the echoes of this Navajo twilight lullaby wrap themselves around you, leading you to the sweetest realms of sleep. Sleep well, and when you awaken, may you carry a gentle piece of this painted desert dream in your heart,